What's up, folks? This is Crypto James talking to you today about a little flash crash for the old Bitcoin and just really to see what's playing out in terms of the market. Today, we've got some interesting adoption, an interesting adoption story with some big purchases and some potential problems for investors in South Korea. Before I get into all of that, as always, I update the spreadsheet. These were the first 26 coins I spoke about on the channel. If you invested $100 to each one when I release my videos, and you're still holding those bags, you'd be sitting in $43,600 profit. Adding your $2,600 investment, you'd be sitting on $46,200. Phantom's obviously leading the way. That was a Udemy course I did where I said it'd be the best investment of the year. It's currently up 246x. I've held every one of these at one point or another, closed positions on damn near all of them in profit, and then reinvested that money into new cryptos. If you want to see the cryptos in the portfolio I hold, check out Copy My Crypto. It's where I share everything that I'm in. I talk about what them, and if you want to match those gains, because these coins, I've built this portfolio to maximize gains. My biggest holders have been killing it, week after week after week, which allows me to take risks on smaller percentages, looking for those 100x's because my portfolio is so well balanced. If you want to be a part of it, make that life-changing wealth, make that wealth, then join Copy My Crypto, or at least click the link and check it out. All right. Yeah, the market's retracing. It's very, I think it's mostly stable coins that are in green. Tezos, Polkadot, Cosmos, Elrond, Tron, and that's it. There are now literally only 5 alts that are in green. The rest have been bled dry. So what's happening with Bitcoin? This is the 30-minute, but you can see that we're on a downtrend. On the day, it fell below the 200-day moving average, fell below the spider lines. So the next line of resistance is around here, or line of support rather, is here around 42,900. So we will see how that plays out. But the way the market's shaping up, and knowing that September usually sucks as a month for crypto, I would expect that we see some more downturn today, or certainly over the week. But we'll see. We will see. So even with obviously the market for the last few days retracing, one thing that we've seen, Bitcoin millionaires have purchased 50,000 Bitcoin in the last 4 days. Crypto whales are moving their Bitcoin assets from digital exchanges. That's always a good sign. That's the biggest money, the richest people accumulating more and removing them from exchanges into cold wallets. So large Bitcoin addresses holding between 10,000 and 100,000 Bitcoin have accumulated nearly 50,000 Bitcoin in the last 4 days. So when they've seen the dips, they've bought the dips. A leading Bitcoin wallet moved 1,500 Bitcoin worth over 70 million from Coinbase to an unknown wallet. So they're purchasing at a big rate. So they still see that there's the good times are ahead. And we've obviously seen some ridiculous volatility in the last few days, and last week, and that's always a surefire sign that things are looking good. Like the volumes have started increasing, and yeah, it's not overly nice to see necessarily the cryptos dipping, but that volatility is where you make the gains. So on-chain activity shows that the relative supply held by long-term holders and short-term holders. Firstly, more than 16.8% of the Bitcoin supply was spent in the last 5 months and returned to profit at the recent high of 52.8K. Long-term holders now own 79.85% of the Bitcoin supply, which is equivalent to what it was in October of last year before the market started really running. That's a big sign that certainly the smart money or the rich money thinks that there are moves to be made. Because if you bear in mind that was the percentage around October, so the prices around October were like 11,000. By November they were 13,000, and by December we broke through that 20 grand mark, and in January we're at 30. So the smart money, the rich money, the whales had positioned themselves in October, which was literally like a few weeks before all of a sudden we had that parabolic rise. So if the same plays out, then we might not have very long till Bitcoin starts flying up again. But they're buying the dips. That's what they're doing. They're buying the dips. In other news, Ukraine look like they're set to make Bitcoin legal tender. So Zelensky, a Bitcoin evangelist, has instructed ministers to transform Ukraine into a crypto-friendly nation. Zelensky, by the way, is the president. And last week he was in California on a fact-finding mission as he toured Silicon Valley, exploring opportunities where Ukraine can navigate itself into positioning digital assets alongside its traditional currency. They want to become a dual currency country where Bitcoin sits alongside their fiat. Now, what is a part of the reason that they believe that it's a natural, like the Ukraine country is a natural fit for this, is because of the number of different methods of, number of different fuels that are created within and used within Ukraine. So currently, right now, it's one of the most diverse energy mixes in the world and has an enviable carbon offset that could draw miners in their thousands. And that is a big selling point. Big, like, if miners start flocking to El Salvador, miners start flocking to Ukraine, makes things easier for miners, makes things easier for the country in terms of accumulation of Bitcoin, whether it's taxes or whatever. Also, utilizing Bitcoin within the country's ecosystem, paying for coffee, it brings more people using cryptocurrencies. And that's what raises value fundamentally. The only thing that we all bang on about adoption, and for good reason. The reason that we bang on about adoption is because the more people that adopt it, the more countries that adopt it, the more people that use it, the more people that buy it, the higher the prices can rise. So potentially they're looking at implementing this within a couple of years. So we'll see how this plays out. It's a good story. And it's again another good thing that we're seeing in terms of countries looking at crypto as a solution to their economic problems. It will be interesting to see how that plays out when a bear market's hit. As long as they sit and hold their crypto, though, it'll be all right. Yeah. And the other piece of news is from South Korea. So, South Korea crypto crackdown to wipe 2.6 billion from kimchi coins. So, if you're unfamiliar, South Korean cryptocurrency traders are bracing for losses of more than $2.6 billion, as 2/3 of the country's crypto exchanges are set to be wiped out in a regulatory overhaul of one of the world's biggest digital currency markets. The Financial Services Commission, South Korea's financial watchdog, has set the 24th of September as the deadline for foreign and local exchanges to register as legal trading platforms. This is, in order to effectively tighten the oversight of the crypto market. South Korea's crypto trading is dominated by 4 big exchanges: Upbit, Bithumb, Corebit, and CoinOne, which account for 90% of the country's total trading volume. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. The mass shutdown of smaller exchanges could also eliminate 42 so-called kimchi coins. These are alternative digital currencies that are listed on local exchanges and traded mostly in Korean won. which is their local currency. Yeah, so this could actually end up being a fairly brutal thing for people in South Korea, and it could obviously have ramifications within the rest of crypto. 2.6 billion is nothing to sniff at. You can see quite clearly the US dollar is the most traded national currency for Bitcoin by a massive margin. The euro and the Korean won are pretty close to being tied. Japanese yen's down here, and British pound is very, very small. The main thing is that's going to be an issue is to be licensed as a legal trading platform. South Korean crypto exchanges must be partnered with local banks to open real name bank accounts for customers, but local lenders resisted doing so over fears of being exposed to money laundering and other financial crimes. Now that, to me, is very assumptive. I'm not sure that that's necessarily true. People don't like admin. I don't like admin. And that it might be as simple as that for some of them. But yeah, huge investor losses are expected with trading suspended and assets frozen at many small exchanges, as customer protection will not likely be the priority of those exchanges facing an imminent closure. Yeah, so this is, and as you can see, it's going to affect global exchanges. The FSC has sent a notice to 27 foreign crypto exchanges that run operations for Korean traders. So it's going to have, certainly going to have a wider reaching impact. And we'll see how this plays out. We do seem to be getting a few more FUD stories as of late. Obviously, the SEC seem to be going after everyone. You know, it's been, was it XRP, Uniswap, Coinbase. Well, they're asking for bloody people's bank account, like customers' identity on. Why? There's no logic to that. That's just the SEC overreaching and showing their hand as a corrupt institution. It's terrible. But yeah, all in, look, September is usually a rough month. We're getting a few FUD stories. We're also getting some positive ones. So the next week or so will be quite interesting in terms of what happens with the market. But Bitcoin is facing a downturn. This $42,900 mark is sort of the next support line. So we'll see how that, see if it can hold as support. Maybe it rebounds up. But if it doesn't hold the support, then we're going to be facing down to the $40,000 mark. And that will obviously have ramifications for everything and all the altcoins. So yeah, but it is a temporary thing, and inevitably the market will recover. But when you see Bitcoin millionaires positioning themselves like they did in October, literally 3 weeks before everything started kicking into gear, it makes you feel confident that certainly smarter money or richer people have an inkling as to what's set to happen, which I think we all do as well, is that the market's still got a long way to go in the positive. That's all from me anyway. If you're new to crypto, check out Copy My Crypto, my portfolio. This is where I share my portfolio. I've built this portfolio to maximize gains. My biggest holders are absolutely crushing it and have been crushing it week after week after week after week. If you want to be a part of these gains, if you want to build your wealth for early retirement, not retirement in your 70s where the money's no good to you, but when you're in your 20s, your 30s, your 40s, that's when you want to retire. If you want to be a part of that, click the link in the description and check it out. Anyway, that's it. Take care.